This panel will be moderated by Dr. Ernie Teo, who just chaired the session on blockchain regulation. I would like all the panelists to come down on the stage. Prof. Zhong Shao, Prof. Wenjing Lou, Ms. Mia Mai, Mr. Fang Kuai, Ms. Doro Unger-Lee, and Mr. Nangeng Zhang.
Right, so I know some of you were here for Vitalik, but do stay around. This is the last panel session, right? And you know, Vitalik gave us a very inspiring idea about what's next, right? What's next for Ethereum, what Ethereum can do, right? And now we have a panel that can, you know, that we are going to discuss what's next for Web3 and what's next for AI, right? And of course, having heard from Vitalik already, we know, you know, we can look forward to a lot more scalability, lower transaction fees, you know, more use cases to appear on the blockchain as well, right? So let's now, you know, hear from our industry experts and academic experts what they think and what they feel could be the future for Web3 and AI as well. Right, so because we only have 30 minutes, instead of me kind of reading everyone's bio, I'm going to pass the mic to them, have them introduce themselves, you know, in a few sentences. And also, because the committee has prepared some warm-up questions, I'm going to ask the warm-up questions so they can introduce themselves and answer the warm-up questions at the same time. Right, so let's start with Prof. Zhong Shao. So the warm-up question for Prof is, what role can blockchain play in decentralizing AI, particularly in areas of data ownership, privacy, and trust in machine learning models?
All right, so my name is Zhong Shao. I'm currently a professor of computer science at Yale University, and I'm also the co-founder of CertiK. So my own research domain is in building certified system software or trustworthy system software. So going right after Vitalik's talk, it's a little bit daunting to comment on this general question or warm-up question, but I would say that my own, you know, research goal is to build what we call certified knowledge base or certified code and data with the evidence. So we always thought Web3 would provide the kind of a ecosystem that give you trust, give you transparency. But up till today, that it still has not been used to look for, you know, to store those truths or true knowledge. And because for various reasons, some of them are outlined by what, you know, in Vitalik's talk. And things has improved, but it's still not up to that level of standard. So relationship with the AI and the trustworthy machine learning, trustworthy AI, and the bigger issue, of course, is even though when AI is super powerful, give you some results, you still don't know whether you trust them or not. One of the obvious requirement is you want to say, AI give you a result. Can you give me the evidence or some chain of trust to show me where do you gather the data, why the results you give me is somewhat trustworthy. And this is where Web3 can help provide such evidence. So ideally, I'm looking forward to have a Web3 or future blockchain where you can actually store the trustworthy or certified code, certified knowledge, certified data, and certified credentials, so that when AI generate answers, they can cite these certified evidence on Web3, and you can use to reconstruct the reasoning why the AI's answer is actually trustful. So this is the obvious, you know, direction that we could pursue.
Yeah, thanks. I wish Vitalik was here to hear your comments. Right, secondly, we have Mr. Fang Kuai from D-Box, and he's going to tell us more about DAOs and the effect of AI. So the question is, how can AI enhance governance in DAOs to improve decision-making within decentralized communities? Please introduce yourself first as well.
Yeah, and thanks. I think it's a very good question, and because we just think about that in the last round when DeFi summer and NFT summer, there are many DAOs, many, and a few survivor. Yes, maybe 2 digits. So we think that's why. Yeah, and I think that one reason is that the DAO governance process is too long and too complex. It's like a parliament. only few people can take part in the DAO governance because you should write a very long proposal. It's like a paper, actually. Yes, so only few people can take part in it. It's not a DAO. Actually, it's a parliament. But now, yes, we see ChatGPT. With GPT, even child, everyone can take part in the DAO governance. Everyone can write a very good proposal, and even everyone can make their good idea to the DAO development, to the DAO governance. I think it's a very big change because DAO go to its original idea, goes to the original concept with the AI. So I think this is a really big change with AI. Yeah, the DAO maybe grows massive, will grow mass adoption in the next round. Yeah.
So that mirrors Vitalik's comment about AI being a participant, right? And how we can actually enhance DAOs through the use of AI participants on top of human ones, right? So that's definitely a very interesting point. Next, we have Professor Wenjing Lou, right, and from Virginia Tech, right? And the question for Professor Lou is, how can AI or blockchain evolve to meet the growing data and processing demands?
So I think I already introduced myself yesterday, right? So I'm a professor at Virginia Tech in computer science. So my research is cybersecurity. I do work in the area of blockchain and trustworthy AI and many other areas like wireless networks. So, but the question I think is asking me how the blockchain and AI will evolve. So this is like a good prediction question. I should throw this to AI to get the answer. You can do that, ask a ChatGPT. But I think I cannot predict what will happen, but I can tell you my wish list, right? What I hope the technology will be. So I think for AI, it's as Vitalik said, it's a highly centralized, right? So because the current success of AI actually comes from the centralized training. So I think AI got to be decentralized somehow, right? So otherwise, I think there's a big issues with all the data going to the central server and computation. So I think somehow the AI community, both algorithm and maybe hardware, need to evolve so that decentralized AI or somewhere in the middle, like a federated learning type of work, edge learning, that need to be realized. So we can push the AI to the edge, to the mobile device, to this level, not just in the data center. That's what I hope the technology will evolve. And for the blockchain, yeah, I think the Vitalik's talk is great because from the technical perspective, I really think the cost is a main issue for blockchain, right? How are you cut down the cost so it's more practical, more affordable? So I think he already talked about the shift from the POW to POS and increase capacity and more scalable. So that's all great. But I think the one thing that will impact the blockchain is the killer application. What is a killer application? If there's a killer application for blockchain, I think that will there will be more the attention and the investment into this technology.
Very interesting points as well. I think really the idea of infrastructure needing to improve, right? Hardware needing to improve, both for AI and blockchain is quite interesting. I mean, there are people here who are working on decentralized physical infrastructures, and how that can then be tapped onto AI as well could be a very interesting approach.
Yeah, because I'll just add one point. So yeah, because I think the blockchain is supposed to address the trust issue, right? But there's, I think, the significant trust issue in the AI models and AI results. So yeah, I don't have a clear idea how this can be combined, but I think there might be ways to use blockchain, the capability to address the trust issue in AI, the fidelity model, fidelity results, fidelity issues.
All right, thanks, Prof. Luo. So next we have Ms. Mia Mai from Hashkey Capital. And the question for Ms. Mai is, how will AI enhance smart contracts in Web3, making them more adaptive to complex real-world events in decentralized applications?
Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. Well, I think maybe before I start, a brief background on Hashkey Capital. So we're positioned as the financial asset manager with the business across venture capital, OTC, wealth management, as well as the regulated centralized exchange. So with that, we are proud to support more than 350 plus projects in the past 5 years. And now we're still very actively looking for founders that are building in this field. So with the questions that like the moderator has asked, well, I think we have already see a lot of the founders building on the AI-empowered app. A lot are still on the AI agent or AI decentralized of different resources within the field. But we definitely expect to see a lot more diversified applications that will be able to empower it by AI-related smart contract features as well as the tweaks, mainly into 2 categories, right? One on the defensive side, the other one is on the offensive practices. On the defensive, fairly straightforward, anything that's related to security, governance, and all of those. Security and auditing, fuzzling, and even the security alert, we already see a lot of the AI applications on those, which are performing more efficient as well as more accurate than how humans have been working on it. We are, actually for all of this, we already see a lot of the good practices, business setups in the Web2 world. We just need to adopt more of those practices into how we develop smart contracts. And Web3 is unique is about the amount of data as well as the unprocessed data that currently in the field that would need those Web2 expertise to help processing those. And on the offensive side, that's even more interesting. So smart contract, AI will mainly come in to increase the usability as well as the go-to-market of the application that's created. For example, the usability on DeFi projects, we all know smart contracts cost smart, but actually has very short memory. So a lot of these features will need an AI-empowered small things to help them, the mass users, to understand essentially if I put in $100, how do I maximize the yield? What are the applications that are available? So all of this doesn't require the users to do it themselves. AI can simply just come in, and those small tricks are the things that we are more excited about. And on the go-to-market side, also with the data that we currently have, how do we distribute resources? How do we find the best product market fits? And all of those, I think AI can definitely increase the efficiency as well as the impact, in a way, further.
Yep. Those are very valid points. I think we can definitely learn a lot from the Web2 world in terms of AI applications and apply them to Web3 as well, right? Especially because Web3 is gaining more traction, and we see a lot of regulations coming into play, right? And AI has already been helping with regulations with a lot of traditional Web2 finance companies, and can do the same for Web3. Right, next we have Ms. Doro Unger-Lee from Algorand Foundation. Right, and the question for you is, what unique security challenges do AI and Web3 systems face, particularly in data manipulation and platform vulnerabilities?
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Doro Unger-Lee. I'm head of education and inclusion at Algorand Foundation. For those of you who are not familiar with Algorand, it's a layer 1 blockchain protocol. And as part of my role at the foundation, I sit within the impact team. So I manage the relationships with ecosystem projects that focus on real-world impact for developing markets, such as cash-based humanitarian aid, carbon credits, and so on, and many other things. We also have a close relationship with NTU and Professor Wen's team here, and are close partners with many universities. And I also lead a capacity building program for the United Nations Development Program, where we teach them how to use blockchain for impact use cases. To come to your questions, I think we heard a lot about the vulnerabilities of Web3 and blockchains as platforms. And what Web3 and AI have in common, right? This decentralized aspect in the way that data or transactions can come in from everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. But when you go to an AI model, let's say ChatGPT, because everyone's familiar with it, the output that I'm getting, I cannot verify, right? Those decisions are made in a black box. When I go to the blockchain, though, everything is recorded in a tamper-proof way. It's transparent. I can exactly see all the information. So when we have a decentralized system like a blockchain, how can we then, make sure that the information that's coming in to the blockchain is actually, good transaction, it's not fraudulent. And I think, and Vitalik touched on this too, are permission blockchain the answer? Because then you can sort of weed out the riffraff and you know exactly what you're getting. But then that's totally against the general concept of Web3, which is decentralized in nature. So if you look at a tool like, let's say, Wallet Connect, right, that connects the wallet to dApps, this is a centralized tool, and the centralized tools come with very many problems. So what we do at Algorand, we actually debuted LiquidOrth, which is a decentralized tool to connect. It's decentralized, it's free, it's open source. And I think when we try to think of ways of avoiding these security challenges, we have to not bring in centralized solutions, but rather think of decentralized tools and how we can make them available as easily as possible to prevent that in the future.
That's great. I mean, it is very easy to fall back to centralized tools when it comes to security, right? Especially if you are building, even if you are building in the Web3 space, and having those new tools available is a very important part of the ecosystem. Right, so finally, last but not least, we have Mr. Nangeng Zhang, right, from Canon, right, and his question is, how could tokenizing AI models on blockchain create new economic models for owning and trading AI as digital assets?
Thank you for the question. I'm coming from Canon, Nasdaq listed company, and basically we are semiconductor company will provide the computing system both for blockchain and AI. I think in the past I thought AI and blockchain's only common things is they both use a lot of computing powers. But today I changed them a little bit because I think the proof of work for blockchain is some kind of preview for the future AI economy. Think about this, what is computing for blockchain? Like mining, they use specific computing power like ASICs, consuming energy and generate coins, and you can spend the coins or exchange it to fiat money. And what is the AI generated content today is you also use specialized computing power. Today is GPUs, and you consume energy, and you have content. Basically, we can call it the tokens, and you pay for the tokens by the quantity and the quality. So based on the same economic model, tokenized the AI is become very natural. So there's already some existing systems. The contributor contribute their computing powers to a system, and users pay tokens. Maybe pay for coins and get their computing power to generate tokens for them. Yeah. So I think we are all humans. So we use the centralized payment system for the settlement is very familiar. But think about in the future, if AI system ask another AI system to do something, they cannot use pay now. So I think for the smart contract and blockchain, the cryptocurrency is more familiar for the AI, talk with AI. Yeah, so what we are doing now is, because we are hardware guys, so we focus on provide cheaper and cheaper computing power for the both AI and the humanity. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So like what Vitalik mentioned earlier, in 2013, we saw a lot of wow ideas that may not be practical, but today they become practical, right? And I really think that ideas like AI on blockchain, using decentralized computers for computation, all these could eventually become possibilities, right? And maybe even decentralized marketplaces for AI applications to run. Right, so let's now, since we have done the warm-up, let's now move on to the actual theme of the panel, which is what's next for Web3 and AI, right? So, and to start off, let's ask the question, what do the panel think now is the direction that Web3 will go? Will the excitement sustain? Like, we have so many summers, so many winters, right? So will the excitement of Web3 sustain? Will it keep going? Are we misunderstanding? Is the market misunderstanding Web3 in general in terms of its capability and limitations? What do you think is the next thing or the next thing for Web3, right? Yeah, so maybe we can just go in the same sequence. Maybe we can start with Prof. Shao.
All right. So I guess everybody was talking about what's the killer app of blockchain, what's the killer app of Web3. To me, I still feel like people trust blockchain because it's transparent, everything's checkable. So ideally, I think the potential of a blockchain should be as free as possible. Everybody can use it. And if you want to know something truthful, you should be able to find it, or the blockchain. If a blockchain agree to hold something, then there's a way to verify what you put on blockchain is truthful. So this is a mix of credential-based checking, where things come from, who did that, and as well as a logic-based knowledge, like you have evidence and proof why the result of certain things are as is. So this would be, in my opinion, the killer app, and everybody, there's lots of things on the internet. Do you trust them? Well, you have to look for certain blockchain to see whether there's a chain of trust that can help you build the evidence. To me, that's the most important part, and it become foundation for any other applications.
Right, Mr. Fang, any comment?
Okay, actually, yeah. Yesterday night, we see from Silicon, he said now blockchain no sexy things, and he asked me to tell some sexy things or nasty things to him. Actually, I think about it, but no, yes. So many talent from blockchain, zero AI, yeah, yes. So if you have some, and everything to listen and start.
Thanks. So, Prof. Low.
Yeah, I think as I said earlier, right, I'm a believer for decentralization. I really think the world, our cyber world should not be centralized, right? There's a lot of problem with that. But at the same time, I think for AI, actually, I see the need for its decentralization. I mean, the demand, right? Because the data locality, right? It's difficult to move data from one place to the other. There's a communication issues and there's a regulation issues, right? You are not allowed to move. But for the Web3, yeah, I think even the concept is decentralized, right? So, but in the real implementation, similar to blockchain, right? Actually, in the past, the mining is done in the mining pool. It's centralized, and the code developers or the actual machines running even now stake, right? So they, to some extent, exhibit some centrality, right? It's not as decentralized as we wish. And for the Web3 implementation, same thing, right? Even you have the service point supposed to be decentralized, but the service point is implemented in a cloud server. But nevertheless, I think as Vitalik also mentioned just now, right? So it's a compromise, right? The compromise for the centralized and the decentralized. So you get sort of a meet in the middle, utility and your wish, right? So I think still I like the vision. I hope it's a success. And but I think I need to see a killer application, because now the decentralized social networks, apparently it's more difficult to use compared to the centralized. So I think we really need to see a killer application for all this decentralized technology to move forward.
Ms. Pai?
Cannot agree more with what the professors have been commenting about. I mean, from an investor perspective, right, this is definitely a year of consumer app, of all the things that the consumer can actually feel and touch and play, instead of we're talking about a lot of infrastructure-related concept where they would not be able to relate to that much. So I think two things that we see have been rising quite a lot. One is really the C-DeFi play. So with all the regulations are becoming more, I wouldn't say open, but it's more like at least it's moving forward. A lot of the C-DeFi play, it really fit into the user's natural need on daily basis. People have been using money since thousands of years ago, like the payment, the salaries, the exchange, all of those. Where C-DeFi play really coming in is with the current user flow that they're already used to. What are some of the crypto-related things can be embedded into the things that would not need much education effort on. Yeah, and another thing is on the app simply need to be playful enough itself. We saw a huge wave of SocialFi, GameFi die in the couple of past years, really because they're targeting that specific less than millions of active users in the crypto space itself, and doesn't really think about what users really need in their daily life a basis. So with that, I mean, even prediction markets like Vitalik has mentioned, right? It didn't try to target the crypto people. It didn't ask about the token price all the time. It talked about what happened in people's daily life. And crypto is just an accelerator of what's already people are adopting. So I guess that sort of user first and product market fit type mindset is what the consumer app will be needed in the next excitement phase.
Thanks. Ms. Doro?
Yeah, I mean, I personally hope that no one's excited about Web3 very soon, that it's just going to be very normal and infrastructure that we use in our daily life. And I also think, in terms of trends, to me personally, the new trend is adoption. It's not the next killer app. We have solutions for decentralized identity, we have solutions for payments, but people like us who sit here in our nice air-conditioned room, we don't care because we have centralized solutions that work very well for us. But there's billions of people who don't have access to a bank account, who don't have access to identity, especially minorities. And to bring those solutions to them, that's the new trend that we need to drive adoption in developing markets, where people cannot get a loan real quick to buy more tea so they can sell it in their shop or send their kids to school. I think it's more important to look at the applications that we already have that cover basic human rights and see and really understand what the ripple effects of those are, right? What can I do when I have access to basic financial services? What can I do when I have access to identity? So I think rather than focusing on the next big thing, it's evaluating closely what we have, who needs it most, and how can I bring it to them.
Okay, Mr. Zhang?
In my perspective, I think Web3 have ultimate compatibility and few limitations. But we must realize first, today I think Web3 is at a cool-down phase, and the Web2 is at its top. And maybe not most people realize that humanity put decades of time and so many people to build Web2. So I think for Web3, they have no chance if there's no full AI automation to rebuild it. It's a really, really hard work. So I think this is the reason for why Web3 today is moving quite slow. It's a very normal, but in the future, I think it's very, very bright because the AI is coming. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. I think to summarize, I think the overall feeling is maybe there's no next hype, right? But it could be And that may not be a bad thing because it's time for adoption, it's time for finding real use cases as well. And that is what we really look forward to, right? To really capture the decentralized spirit of things rather than to chase the next hype to, get the next 10x or 100x, right? So that may be something that we want to really look towards, right? So I just been informed that we are running out of time, so I just like to wrap up the panel with everyone maybe giving us a snippet of what they want to end the panel with. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about what do you hope to see for Web3 and AI, in the next 5 years, right? So again, we can go with the same sequence, and we'll end the panel after that.
It's hard to predict. Nobody knows what the ChatGPT 01 or 02 or 03 will be like.
What's your hope? What do you want it to
be? But I certainly hope things can be more integrated, transparent, and cheaper, right? And right now, it's very hard to predict what AI can do. Right now, the hype is out of the roof. Everybody, I guess. One of the reasons Web3 is not as hot as it should be is because everybody jumped down to the AI bandwagon. 5 years from now, what would be it like? Nobody knows. But I do hope that, like others have said, as researchers, as a member of the research community, it requires patience. All these challenges has to be tackled one by one, and I hope we can make steady progress towards a more, reliable technology, trustworthy technology. So I hope that aspect can be worked out more in the next 5 years.
Okay, actually, I hope yes, all blockchain projects or foundations can keep a core value of crypto. I think that's permissionless. And because until today we see many censorship, many KYC, and many liquidity go to the no DeFi to CeFi. So the Binance was the end of the crypto. Yes, so I think the permissionless, like Uniswap, like this RAM, why they are good? Because they are permissionless, and everyone could go that, but not everyone could go Binance. So I think in 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 100 years, we can keep this core value. Do permissionless things, everyone can do that, yes.
Yeah, so I think I like the decentralization idea. I do believe using this to achieve democracy in the cyber world, but at the same time, the cost, right? So I hope, in the short term, maybe there's a permissioned chain got adopted. I think it's possible if there are people who is willing to accomplish this. Long term, I think AI, I believe, is going to stay. So I still hope someone can develop something like, a proof of useful training, proof of trustworthy training, using that as the proof for the blockchain, some connection. But that's, it's a fantasy so far.
Thanks.
So I mean, the one thing that we truly want to see is a more unified, I would say, crypto space where where people come to blockchain are looking for more decentralization, removal of all nationality out of those, where we still see quite a lot of scarcity and silo functions across different sectors, between different roles that play in this field, right? Between investor and builders, and also between the West and the East. People are talking about different topics, and I know we have all this type of conferences, and still, there's just a lot more that we can still push forward. I mean, we as investors are not only here to incubate projects across the globe. We really want to see there are true use cases that doesn't require one builder to make it work. It requires 10 builders to make it work together. So I guess that sort of things is, I think, what the next mass adoptions will require before the users come in. We as the builder investors need to believe in ourselves.
I think my hope for the future is that we have so many academics in the room that we use that combined brain power to really educate regulators, governments, all these public stakeholders. At my role at the foundation, I advise a working group at the House of Lords in the UK Parliament, and the Lords are falling asleep. They do not understand blockchain, and they're afraid of it. They're afraid of the concept of decentralization. So I think what we need to do as industry and what academia needs to do is really help the public sector understand and help governments understand and the regulators, like, what is blockchain, how does it work? And from an academic perspective, and I'm speaking from a non-technical perspective here, it's like, I really wish that more faculty would look at in the disciplinary work and thinking of blockchain in concepts and not in code and smart contracts, but really going to the law school and the business school and getting people together from various disciplines to really make sure these concepts that are inherent to Web3 and also cryptography, that they're thoroughly understood, and then take away that fear of Web3 and also AI across sectors. And I think all the academics who presented the past 2 days, they are all doing that already, but we need even more of that. And then at Algorand, we really try to keep up those relationships and keep the conversations alive, but I think there's also more that we need to do. So in general, I hope there's more discourse and more capacity building across sectors.
Yeah, I think for next 5 years, first is I hope human or we can have several orders more computing power and several orders cheap computing cost for the blockchain and AI. The second is, I don't think people can deconstruct itself, but I hope AI can help people to do this. And the third is the AI or the silicon-based civilization. We can hope there's some potentials happens. Yeah.
So, really the next big, we hope for the next big thing. We hope for better ecosystem, better infrastructure. I think having been inspired by Vitalik's talk, and we now know that, Ethereum is ready. So what's next? What can we build on Ethereum? What can we build on other chains? And how do we grow that ecosystem is something we will look forward to. Right, so this has definitely been a very insightful panel, especially after Vitalik's talk. We got a chance to dive deeper into the concepts that he was talking about, right? And we got a chance to explore it further with the panel. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time, so let's put our hands together to thank the panel. And I'll hand over now to our MC.
Now I would like Prof. Wen to facilitate the panel sessions. Hello.
Okay.
I think I'll just say that. To conclude, please welcome Professor Zhang Tiangwei, Associate Director of CCTF at NTU, for the closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, as we come to the close of this exciting two-day NTU Blockchain Symposium, we want to express our deepest gratitude to all of you for your valuable contributions. With the participations of over 20 professors from across the globe, your insights have sparked thought-provoking discussions and help us explore new horizons in blockchain technology. And also a special thanks to our keynote speaker, Vitalik, for sharing his vision and expertise. We would also like to extend our thanks to our panelists for the in-depth discussions and to all the participants for engaging so actively in these sessions. This symposium has demonstrated how collaborations across research, industry, and academia that can drive forward innovative solutions. And we are also planning to organize this symposium next year, and we hope to continue this journey together, building on the insights and the relationships we have established here. Okay. Thank you once again for your time, your expertise, and your commitment. We look forward to welcoming you all next year for an even more impactful and successful gathering. Thank you.
As we come to the close of today's symposium, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who contributed to making this event a success. A special thanks goes to our sponsors whose invaluable support brought this event to life. Ms. Mia Mai from Hashkey Capital, Mr. Nangeng Zhang from Canon, Mr. Fang Kuai from D-Box, Mr. Gavin Wang from SNZ, Mr. Brian Zhou from Site, Ms. Freya Chen from BGA, and Toka Labs. Today, we have explored some truly fascinating discussions ranging from the latest advancements in blockchain technology and consensus mechanisms to privacy-preserving innovations and blockchain's transformative potential across industries. Our speakers have not only illuminated the immense opportunities that blockchain offers, but also the challenges we must face together, whether it's overcoming scalability issues or enhancing security. What's clear is that the pace of innovation in this space will only continue to accelerate, it's events like these that provide fertile ground for ideas that will shape our collective future. As we leave, let's take with us the insights and connections we have made and continue pushing the boundaries of what's possible. I encourage you all to remain curious, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep building. Thank you once again for your participation and engagement. I wish you all the best as we continue to break new ground in blockchain technology. Have a great evening, and we look forward seeing the next year. Thank you. For all the guest lectures, the bus is ready at TCTLT, so please follow the volunteers, they will guide you.